Oh boy, it's been a year! Hey everyone, Hardmode here with another cosplay guide. This time it's gonna be Mikhail from Resident Evil 3. The obvious follow-up question will be, why am I making this cosplay guide in the first place if he's such a niche character that we interact with very briefly? And the answer is simple. It's fun to research and document. Plus, some might find this guide useful for their airsoft loadouts, so why not? Before I start, let me just get one thing out of the way. Victor is not a real Russian or East European last name. Both Mikhail and Victor are first names. Victor can only be a patronymic name, but in that case it would have been Viktorovich. Anyway, semantics aside, let's get into the cosplay guide. Let's start with the two most distinct pieces of equipment, that being the vest and the pants. The vest is most certainly the Eagle Industries TAC V2 in a black configuration. Unfortunately, like most legacy combat gear, this one's pretty pricey. That is if you find one to begin with. I'm even gonna go as far as saying that it's probably even harder to find than Honk's SOE vest. Now, while that thing has plenty of reproductions nowadays, thanks Vadim, this Eagle Industries TAC V2 is almost nowhere to be found, and judging from the data and the descriptions I found, they are usually priced at around the $600 range, and in some cases less. The lowest I've heard of these things going for is $400. If I find places that consistently sell them, or at the very least decent replicas from AliExpress or something, then I will leave a link to it on my Discord server as always. Now until that happens, there are two more options to handle the vest. The first is getting something similar, of which there are a couple of options that I'll leave on the screen here. The second option is custom making it yourself or modifying a similar black vest. If you got any sewing skills, then it shouldn't be the hardest thing in the world, as military gear is fairly straightforward. However, you know what is easy to find? The pants. Yeah, the developers at Capcom were just screaming with this stereotype at you to indicate that he is Russian, because he's wearing the most iconic Soviet kit, the Gorka.
Nice.
If that's not East European enough for you, then I don't know what is. Anyway, the pants are the summer season Gorkas. Military grade models can range at around the $60 to $80 range, so it's pretty cheap. I will leave links to multiple options for these pants, they are really easy to find. Next up are the gloves. These gloves are really common in the Resident Evil series, and we've seen them plenty of times in my cosplay guides. In the Resident Evil remake and Resident Evil 2 worn by Leon, and now we see them again on Mikhail. They are the Rothko Tactical Fingerless Repelling Gloves, in a black configuration. They are still pretty easy to find. They are usually at the $30 price range, sometimes cheaper if you find a reproduction. If for whatever reason you can't find these particular ones, you can get a more modern version which look fairly similar. Next is the holster. Nothing really changes here either, it's the same Safariland holster that we see Leon use in Resident Evil 2. Which, again, is not very rational pick from Mikhail because it's specific to a very particular gun. Anyway, the holster is called the Safariland 6004 SLS Tactical Holster. I wouldn't say the full name, as quite frankly the name is way too long. In terms of finding them, well, they are around. The merchant in our server, Killcade, occasionally sells them, so you can ask him if he's around. You can also find this holster on the official Safariland website, but keep in mind it's also in the $200 price range. The knee pads are the good old knee pads from Altaflex, specifically the Alta Industries Superflex knee pads, in a black configuration. You can find these for as low as $40 if we're talking about the official ones, but you can find reproductions for a lot lower. The boots in this particular outfit is something that I'm not sure about. I've dug around for a bit, but at this time I can't say for certain what model they are. Buying generic combats will do the trick just fine. Also, don't forget the white shirt underneath. It's very, very important. Now the weapon. The weapon he is portrayed with in-game is called the CQBR, but in real life we call it the Colt Model 933, with some additional modifications. Those being the LMT LAA standalone rear sight, and the Knights Armament Company RIS. Last but not least is a red beret. No, it's not an ordinary beret, it's got this neat little UBCS logo on it. There is not one available anywhere to my knowledge, but this pattern can be hand-drawn using acrylic paint. Also, weird little fact, a modified model of Mikhail was used in Resident Evil 4 for some of the Last Plagueis infected enemies. It's mostly unchanged, with only the face being covered and some colors altered. Hope you're happy, because now you got the outfit to suicide bomb a train with Nemesis on it.
Get off my train, shitbird!
Traditionally, in this part of the video, I usually show off cosplayers who've cosplayed the same character. But since the character is so niche, there are barely any out there, and the versions that I did find are based on other games. So the outfit is a bit different. Either way, here's what I found. If you like this video, leave a like and also check out my other cosplay guides. I've made plenty of Resident Evil ones, so there's something for everyone. As always, thank you all for watching, and until next time everyone.